Hello, folks. I am back. Well, when I started, I kind of jumped into it too quick and I got a few guests, and then I realized, crap, I don't have the time for this. But now the kids are all back to school, they've all settled into school. I am back once again like the renegade Messa. I know you're not really allowed to say that, but I kind of did. So it's a bit crack. Anyway, I am your host, Leslie Ann, and thank you for tuning into She's All Talk. I'm feeling a little bit better this week now, and all the kids are back. And God, it's hard getting them all back to school. I have to say, this is the first time that I've had 5 of them going to school. It's just madness. It's been madness. The oldest lad, who was 13 yesterday. Oh my God, I finally have a teenager in my house, which is surreal. He started secondary. The youngest baby started junior infants, and then the other in between, and it's just been absolutely hectic. And I never realized how expensive it was to send the lad to secondary. I swear to God, I'm literally so bleeding broke, it's not even funny. I'm actually I'm in awe of the amount of things they have to have going into secondary. Like, it's just been crazy. Laptops and ebooks and physical books and 100 quid's worth of stationery and uniforms that are crazy money. And I just don't know. I don't know. I just bleeding bonkers. But I'm glad that I'm kind of glad that summer's over, because the kids seem to be, after like the 2 years of COVID and bits of lockdowns and all, they just ate the whole summer, and they just didn't know, asking me, what are we going today and what are we going to do? And you literally have to have a itinerary for the whole 2 months of what you're going to do with them over the summer. Did anybody else feel like that? I just didn't know whether I was coming or going. Eventually we got to go on our holiday that we booked in 2019, but it was for summer 2020. We got to go there. We booked one of them holiday camps called Alto Mincio. It was in Lake Garda. Lake Garda itself, if nobody's ever been, it's bloody stunning. We went to a place called Sirmione on the boat, which is a bit of a stone throw away, only a stone throw away from the campsite we were staying in. Sirmione is one of these picturesque lake towns that is stunning, absolutely stunning. You never see anywhere like it in your life. So we went there on a boat and we loved it. Now, myself and Kieran and my mum came with us, and the kids enjoyed it, but they were sweating. Don't think I would go away again in August with them, because all they did was complain of the heat. My God, we were coming up to 40 some days. Like, it was exceptionally hot, and all they did was moan about it being too hot. And like, I mean, the place is full of swimming pools. They didn't even want to be in the pools, because I think the boys, they had a bit of a dip and they were out. And don't think I'd take the boys. Like, they were 13 and 12, and I think they were a little bit over the camp holidays. We've only really ever had 2, camping ones, but we've had like holidays, summer holidays before. We'd stay in a hotel or apartments, whatever. But I think it's more for the age group of the likes of maybe 10 down. Maybe you bring older kids, but I feel like my lads are just like, ugh, and again, like, for a camping holiday, we've did it before because we thought it would that be cheaper, but it was very expensive, and Italy is very expensive. And even on the campsite, it's like 4 quid for a bleeding ice cream. You know what I mean? It's 4 quid is an awful lot, especially when there's 5 of them asking for ice creams every half an hour. You're like 50 quid in ice creams in a couple of hours. So I don't think I'll do that again. I think the only way to go when you've loads of them will be all inclusive. Again, you're paying extra, but again, like, all that's free, and they can eat what they want. And if they want to leave it, they go, I don't like this dinner, and they can throw that aside and go up and get more. And I think it's more bang for your buck, especially when you have a gang of kids who just want to eat all the time. They're bleeding Rottweilers is what they are. And ugh. I nearly said, like, I don't think I'd bring them abroad again. I know that's a little bit mean, but Do you get kind of no thanks for it as well? Because all they do is fight and moan with one another, and she's looking at me. It's like she's looking at me, but in a different country. You know, that kind of way. And I was just exhausted after the 2 weeks. I nearly needed a holiday afterwards. But I'm happy to have my time away from them. First time ever. I've no nappies in the house. They're all in school. And yeah, it just seems a little bit surreal because now I'm able to come and do this again. And I'm happy to have my time to myself and be able to do something I love, which is yapping and chatting and the podcast and having guests and chatting to people. But also it's a bit, oh my God, right, okay, this is my time now. What am I going to have a career? Am I going to go back to work? What am I going to do? You know, I know I'm the carer to the kids, and again, I just feel like I need to contribute a little bit more to the world, you know, that kind of way. But yeah, so now my time is limited for the last week and this week because the little one who started junior infants, she's only until 12. So I only have a few bits time to myself, which I'm using it wisely. Now, my kitchen's in bits, my gaff is in bits, but I'd rather be here talking to you, broadcasting, because this is what I've always wanted to do. So here I am, and yeah, look, I love the news, I love the weather, I love the gossip, I love anything that's trending is what I want. So yesterday I was so sad to hear that the Queen had passed away. I really was, because like everybody has watched The Crown, and anybody who hasn't watched The Crown, like, you need to get a grip on yourselves. You have to. So I really enjoyed The Crown. I respected the Queen as not as a monarch, not just as a monarch, but I respected her as a mother and as a woman, I suppose. You know, like she got that job pretty young. She was 25, was she, or something like that, and she was a young mother, newly married, and she was thrown into that role. And I think she's did what she could. And like, I mean, you have to hand it to her. Up until 2 days before she passed away, or a few days she passed away, she was still working. Like, you seen footage of her shaking hands and asking Liz Truss to form a government in her name and all that. Like, fair play to her. And I'm sad to see her pass away. And it'd be interesting to see all her kids now and her other family, not her other family, her family taking on these new roles, and how well it's going to go for them, I suppose. Be interesting to see, because in fairness now, it seems to be a new chapter with the royals. It's a new royal family coming along, the likes of, the Harry and William and their wives and their children. And I think old Charlie, I don't think he'll have a long stint. I don't know why. I just get that feeling that he might pass it to the son, and start from there, because he's had his time. He's had his controversial time, and so have all the Queen's children. Like, they kind of made a bit of a show over her as well. But that's what kids are for. My kids make a show of me on a different level, obviously. But that's what kids are for. They make a show of you and say stuff that you don't want them to say to people, and it's just but I do think, yeah, it's time for him to move over and let the others, I mean, maybe let Meghan cause a bit of a stir, and she kind of has already, but let's just see what happens. Yeah, the weather has been a bit shy, hasn't it? Like, we got a nice bit of weather, and now it's a bit crap with the rain and what have you. I loved the summer. I loved the summer. I loved the sun. I like to sit in the sun till I don't like getting burned, but I like having a tan. I think you can wear anything with a tan. Everybody looks a little bit better with tan. You feel better. You can wear shorts. You're not slapping on a load of bleeding tan on you. That's all mad and goes all streaky and all. And I just feel good. I feel better with a tan. Your clothes look better with a tan, But I hope you get a nice little bit of blast of warm weather before October kicks in. Looking forward to Halloween. I actually really like Halloween. I was in TK Maxx the other day and I saw all the Halloween bits, and even though I'm broke, like, I couldn't pick up anything because I just have to start saving, because yourself, the cost of living going up. Holy shit. If I hear about electricity one more time, or about everything going up, I think I'm going to go and live on an island and let everybody else fend for themselves, because I know how to start a fire. I know how to cook on a campfire. I think I'll just leave them all to their own devices, fight over energy and electricity, and fucking hell. If I hear it anymore, look, we'll survive, we'll be grand. We all need something to look forward to. Book a city break, go on a sun holiday, grand. Give yourself, it's in here, that's what matters, Keep yourself sane. That's what I'm doing right now. Keeping yourself sane. That's what it's all about. So yeah, this is just a little brief episode, just asking my guests, people to come and be my guests. I started out, like I said, a little bit prematurely when I started the podcast. I thought, oh yeah, I'll rip in the episodes and I'd be able to get loads of guests, and I could get a few, and they were fantastic, and I loved them, and I still followed Jess, and I still followed Huey and all the rest of them, and Debbie and Pete, and I've reached out to a few more to have a few more guests. So I'd love to have a few more guests on, have the chats and the usual bit of banter that we always have. And yeah, I'd like to have more guests on. So yeah, that's it really. I hope everybody had a good summer and everybody's feeling a little bit better now that kind of the kids are back to school and back to work, and it's going to be a long winter, as we're being told by our government, to not use as much as electricity as we should, and go around turning off lights after ourselves. And it kind of sounded a little bit Charlie High-ish the other day when our Taoiseach said to us about conserving energy and stuff like that. It was almost like when Charlie turned around to us and said we were living way beyond our means and we had to tighten our belts and stuff, when our man was out. I'll say no more. Don't say no more. But listen, we'll all be grand. I am going to be out protesting on the 14th of, you know me, I love a good protest. But it's all for the same reason. If anybody does know me, it's for children and children's services and the rights of children and how they're underrepresented represented in Ireland when it comes to services, and what we expect from an economy like ours, and a government like ours does have the money to pay a bit of extra attention to our services for children with disabilities, additional needs. I mean, I spoke to a mother yesterday, even to get a blood test for a child. Her daughter, she suspects she has, she may have Crohn's or something, and to do it publicly, it's like 2 months for a blood test for a child. And there she is heading off to the Hermitage or the Beacon or whatever to get blood tests. That's not good enough. 2 months is not good enough. And children who already have a diagnosis deteriorate while we're waiting on all these things, and it's not good enough. And we need to use our voice. Us as a nation we've lost our voice, and we have become very tolerant to bullshit and being walked all over, and that's putting it as blatant as I can. Since when have we become them people? And when are we ever going to stick up for ourselves and say, look, it's not okay to bring up the cost of living. It's not okay to, just be screwed all the time, basically, and not be able to get any services, particularly mental health services in this country. And I mean, for children and for adults, it's shocking. It's shocking to have to wait that long. And, I just feel like there's more that can be done, and we should have to stop relying on the likes of charities and going private for everything, and organisations that look after people who are at their most vulnerable. My auntie runs a service with all the rest of the people in Dublin 15 and Blanchardstown called Suicide Awareness, and I mean, she's an amazing woman, but there's so many people rely on her organisation for mental health, and I really respect them down there, and I think they're fantastic. But where we live in Dublin 15 also, there's a huge shortfall in services for children with disabilities and special needs, and even children who haven't had a diagnosis. are being left to basically parents fend for themselves and deteriorate, and it's not good enough. And that's why I teamed up with an organisation called Fuss Ireland. So we're all basically fighting together. So I am under umbrella of Fuss Ireland. I'm called Fuss Dublin 15, same as Help Our Children Ireland that I set up in 2018. And we're going to be outside Leinster House on the 14th from 11 till 2 if you want to join us. And we're going to shout again for our children. And that's that's what we want. And we want better services, quicker intervention, quicker everything for everything, because it's not fair. And that's it, basically. So I have a petition. It's called Fuss Dublin 15. If you want to sign our petition, you can follow me. You can find it on my platforms, She's All Talk platforms. And yeah, but get involved. If you signed a petition, tell us your story. Come along to Leinster House for the hour on next Wednesday. You're more than welcome. Be your child's voice, that's all I say. And look, it's all we can be, and it's all we can do, and we can only be their voice. And so that's what I'm going to be doing next Wednesday, if you want to come along. Because you know me, I when I see something, I'm like a dog with a bone. And when I want to do something, I go ahead and do it. Like even with this podcast, I started it up and then I just stopped because I had no time. But slowly and surely getting back into it. And you know, doing what I do best, like I said. So that is my little September vibes episode that I'm throwing out for this Friday. I hope everybody has a lovely weekend. I know a lot of people are off to Garth Brooks. I know somebody told me there is a guy who's going to every single one of them. I mean, come on. Fair play to you. Come here, whatever gets you by, whatever gets you through. It's what's up there that counts, like I said, and keep yourself sane. That's all that matters. Once you're okay, people who you look after, your children, your family around you, everything will be okay if you look after yourself and everything else falls into place. That's my bit of advice. Whether I take it now, you know, we don't always take our own advice. But anyway, keep positive. September vibes. Just get through September and then think about October. Like I do. We only said it yesterday. One of the mammies says, "What you do next week?" And myself and another mammy who has loads of kids like me. So, geez, I can't even organize what I'm doing tomorrow. Never mind. Day-tight compartments, guys. That's all we can do, and we can get through anything. Us Irish, we can do it. Bleeding rebels we are. So anyway, listen, you can follow me on all the socials. Wherever you get your podcasts, you can hear me. Have a lovely weekend. Enjoy Garth Brooks. I hope it doesn't lash on everybody. And all you can do is keep it country, guys. Chat to you soon. Take care. Bye-bye.